AM 590 WCAB Rutherfordton with FM translator service on W265DW at 100.9.
I'm Brian Clark. 30 hours after a mob of his supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol, President Trump called for healing and acknowledged that he lost the election.
We have just been through an intense election and emotions are high, but now tempers must be cooled and calm restored.
That videotaped statement from the White House came hours after top Democrats and some Republicans called for his immediate removal from office. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer said,
"The quickest and most effective way to remove this president from office would be for the vice president to immediately invoke the 25th Amendment."
That would require the vice president and a majority of the cabinet to determine the president was unable to discharge his duties. It's not clear if that will happen. Democrats in Congress could also pursue impeachment, but some members of the cabinet have left.
Education Secretary Betsy DeVos resigning, calling the Capitol siege an inflection point. Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's wife, also resigning. And former Attorney General Bill Barr calling Trump's conduct a betrayal of his office and supporters.
It's ABC's Alex Shea also demands for answers about how the mob was able to breach the Capitol. The Capitol Hill police chief has resigned. A Capitol Hill police officer is dead, says ABC's Andy Field.
Investigators say protesters assaulted Officer Brian Sicknick during Wednesday's U.S. Capitol siege. Capitol Police say he collapsed after returning to his office, was in intensive care, and died from injuries late Thursday night. That officer, now the second person killed as Trump supporters overran police and got inside.
3 others died of medical emergencies. Meanwhile, the coronavirus pandemic continues to rage across the country. Thursday saw the first 24-hour period where the U.S. had more than 4,000 deaths. And this morning, the Labor Department releases its December jobs report. You're listening to ABC News.
They're pounding on the door. They're calling on the phone. It's the collectors. It's those credit cards you ran up trying to start your business. Now you found out that a DBA hurts the family and brings the pain home.
Do you remember hearing these commercials on radio? For over 40 years, Ray Reynolds has helped customers get millions in credit. It's no wonder why they call him the godfather of credit. Ray Reynolds will get your score above 720. Do you need $50,000 of corporate credit? By using corporate credit, you can finance a business, buy real estate and stock under a corporation. Take advantage of numerous tax write-offs only available to a corporation. Now you can meet Ray Reynolds on his daily webinar at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. Monday through Friday, or call 800-490-4140 to find out more about his secrets to success in helping fix and improve your credit. Go to rayswebinar.com at 11 a.m. or 2 p.m. Monday through Friday and check out his free, very informative webinar, or call 800-490-4140 now. It's worth your time and you'll learn a lot. That's rayswebinar.com or call 800-490-4140. Europe's top drug agency giving approval this morning for doctors to draw up to 6 coronavirus shots from each vial of the vaccine made by Pfizer and BioNTech. That will immediately increase the number of available doses of the vaccine by 20%. ABC's Todd Ant says there's also some good news from some new lab tests.
Scientists working on the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine say it appears to be effective against the COVID-19 variant, as well as 15 other mutations the company has previously tested against. Lab studies show the highly transmissible new variants of the coronavirus were discovered in the UK and South Africa. The mutation could be responsible for greater transmissibility, and one of Pfizer's top viral vaccine scientists says the good news is that they tested 16 different mutations, and none of them have really had any significant impact. But he adds that doesn't mean that the 17th won't. Todd Ant, ABC News.
Iran's Revolutionary Guard today revealing some of its underground tunnels in a depot containing hundreds of missiles near the Strait of Hormuz. It's the latest move in a week of Iranian saber rattling. The last few days, Iran's announced it was stepping up enrichment of uranium, also seized a South Korean tanker. And 2020 was the warmest year for Europe since records began. That's according to climate data released today. Last year also tied 2016 for the warmest year worldwide on record. Some of the highest temperature increases came in Siberia, which also saw a jump in wildfires. This is ABC News.
Newsmax TV is the biggest thing on cable news, with shows including Dick Morris, Rudy Giuliani, Michelle Malkin, Diamond and Silk, Mike Huckabee, Alan Dershowitz, and more. Every night, watch Newsmax's #1 show, Greg Kelly Reports. Greg Kelly tells you the truth about Trump. Newsmax is on all major cable systems. Check your guide or tell your operator you want Newsmax. 30 million Americans watch Newsmax TV. And download the Newsmax app on your smartphone. It's free, so get Newsmax TV anytime, anywhere.
Brian Clark, ABC News.
You know, folks are saying once you've used a Massey Ferguson, you won't ever want another tractor. They're tough, versatile, and dependable. And now with the change of season special at NC Tractor and Farm Supply, you'll be wise to get your special deal. Our tractors have been running in families for generations. Ask about the Phil Sheehan Fall Special going on right now. NC Tractor, 299 Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton. Call 288-0395.
Good morning, everyone. We're waking up to areas of a rain-snow mix this morning. Chilly rain also across southern areas, and we'll see temperatures today in the low to mid-30s. Snowfall will be likely later on this afternoon and evening, where snow accumulations also likely. A winter storm warning is in effect for today. This system moves out overnight tonight, turning drier Saturday morning. We'll see mostly sunny skies Saturday afternoon with highs in the mid-40s. More sunshine continues on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
Still snowing here in the foothills, and we've had some accumulation overnight. We'll get some more throughout the day today. Don't know exactly where it's all going to end, but we'll certainly keep you posted on that. Accumulations, that maybe 1 inch to 1.5 inch possible today, and then maybe another half an inch tonight. But we'll keep watching that weather pattern for you. Right now, it is 33 degrees and snowing here in the foothills. We'll get you updated on the delays of activities in the county in just a few moments. Right now, I have these death announcements. Vanessa Rome Baynard, age 67 of Rutherfordton, died Wednesday at Carolina Medical Center in Charlotte. The funeral service will be held at 11 o'clock Saturday in the Paget A. King Chapel with burial following in the Eternal Hills Memorial Park. The family will receive friends from 10 until 11 prior to the service, and masks and social distancing are requested, and the Paget A. King Mortuary and Crematory in charge of those arrangements for Vanessa Rome Baynard. Gary McCraw Sr., age 75, passed away Thursday, December 31st at Atrium Health Cleveland in Shelby. A private celebration to honor Gary's life will be conducted in Harrelson. Funeral and cremation services has been entrusted with those arrangements for Gary McCraw Sr. June Fortune Bradford, 95, of Forest City, passed away Tuesday at hospice of the Carolina Foothills. No services are planned at this time, and Crow Mortuary is serving the family of June Fortune Bradford. Joy Lee Dimsdale Owens, 62, of Forest City, died January 3rd at Mission Hospital in Nashville. A private memorial service is scheduled, and Crow Mortuary is assisting the family of Joy Lee Dimsdale Owens. Lauren Bryce Arrowwood, age 21, of Forest City, died Monday, January 3rd. Graveside service will be held at 2 o'clock Sunday in the Cool Springs Cemetery. Family will receive friends following the service at the cemetery. Social distancing and masks are requested for those attending. The Paget A. King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements for Bryce Arrowwood. Keith Biggerstaff, age 52, of Forest City, passed away January 1st at his residence. The funeral service will be conducted at 2 o'clock Saturday at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel. Burial will follow at Eternal Hills Memorial Park. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Keith Biggerstaff of Forest City. Charles Ray Ramsey, 83, of Mooresboro, died January the 4th at the Wendover Hospice House in Shelby. Mr. Ramsey will be lying in state at Eggers Funeral Home in Cliffside on Saturday, January the 9th, 9 a.m. until 12 noon. A graveside service will be held at 2 o'clock Saturday, January the 9th at Mount Pleasant Baptist Church Cemetery of Mooresboro. Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside, serving the family of Charles Ray Ramsey. Mrs. Beulah May Stanley, age 93, of Sites Drive, Forest City, died December 29th at hospice of Rutherford County. Those arrangements incomplete at this time and will be announced by Pruitt Funeral Home and Cremation Service for Mrs. Beulah May Stanley. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. Complete information on these and others as they become available to us can be heard this morning at 11:35, and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report here on the most information for the foothills, WCAB Rutherfordton. Snowing outside, 33 degrees, and we'll give you the list of those businesses that are delaying starting today in just a few moments. Right now it's time for the Rush Limbaugh Morning Update.
Pennsylvania Republicans hold the majority in that state legislature. On Tuesday, they prevented Democrat State Senator Jim Brewster from being seated for the new term. The issue was mail-in ballots. Mr. Brewster, the Democrat, defeated his Republican opponent by just 67 votes. But 311 mail-in ballots were counted, even though they were not dated. That's a violation of the state's election law. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court, run by liberal Democrats, ignored the law. Surprise. They said these ballots could be counted, so Republicans took the case to federal court, where it is still pending. Meanwhile, Democrat Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman tried to seat Mr. Brewer. Republicans, in what the media calls an unusual move, said no way. They voted to remove the lieutenant governor as the presiding officer of the proceedings and then refused to seat Mr. Brewster until further review. Now, of course, the Democrats went ballistic. Pennsylvania's Democrat hack Governor Tom Wolf accused Republicans of subverting the Democrat process. Democrats, as all of you know by now, believe they are entitled to bend the law or to break it or to stomp on it or ignore it whenever their power is at stake. And anybody gets in their way is subversive. Thankfully, it seems Pennsylvania Republicans have had enough, and they actually want their election laws followed. It's a novel concept. We'll keep track here.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/news. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Good morning. Good morning.
WCAB. Have you noticed lately how empty everything is? Empty streets, empty stores, empty schools. But I'm trying to change these empty times by being full of gratitude. Gratitude means saying thanks to the garbage collector, the medical providers, and all those who are helping every day. Things may appear empty around us, but when we're filled with gratitude, nothing is completely empty inside us. Gratitude is in you. From PassItOn.com.
Those of you who are parents or grandparents or folks who are responsible for kiddos getting to school, this guest got their word. School has been canceled for today. Generally, school has been canceled for today. Rutherford County Schools canceled for today. Isothermal Community College on a 2-hour delay, opening at 10 o'clock this morning. No senior center meals today. They took care of those meals on wheels yesterday. They gave them extra food for today, but no senior meals at the center today. The courthouse opens at 10 o'clock this morning for their activities. And the Rutherford County Transit will start operations at 10 o'clock today. Rutherford County offices will operate on a delay schedule, opening at 10 o'clock today. And if you are scheduled to receive your COVID-19 vaccination today, it has been rescheduled due to the weather. So come to the Rutherford County Health Department tomorrow at 2 o'clock or Sunday at 2 o'clock. This is only for individuals already registered to receive vaccinations that and were scheduled for today. If you're registered and were scheduled for today, they're delaying that till tomorrow or Sunday at 2 o'clock. Now, those are the only ones we've had so far received in, but our phone stands ready for any other cancellations or delays that we might be getting due to the weather. Todd's standing by. I'm standing by. We'll get them on as quickly as we possibly can. But right now, we got to go to the phones and find out what's been else is going on around the county.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
William Cook was born in the Cherokee Nation. His father was white and his mother was Cherokee. Cook served for a while as a military scout, but it didn't pay well. So Cook started peddling whiskey to the Indians in the Creek Nation. When he was 20, he was arrested and brought before hanging Judge Isaac Parker. Parker was lenient on him and only gave him a month in jail. During that month, Cook did some planning, and when he got out, he started an outlaw gang. It comprised of about 15 men, and they committed at least a dozen robberies. The gang contained a Crawford Goldsby. Right away, Goldsby's name was changed to Cherokee Bill. Cherokee Bill's heritage was a regular United Nations. He was white, black, Mexican, Sioux, and Cherokee. And that mixture created a man who was tall, quick, and really mean. Every gang needed someone who would put fear in their victims, and that man was Cherokee Bill. Actually, he put lead in victims, including merchants, station agents, and express agents. As with most outlaw gangs, William Cook's didn't last long. In less than a year, the gang was either dead or in jail. William Cook lasted until January 11, 1895, when he was arrested. Cook again appeared before hanging Judge Isaac Parker. Because Parker could find no record of his killing anyone, he was sentenced to 45 years. But that was just as effective because William Cook died within 5 years. You've just heard another story from Chronicle of the Old West. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Snowy Friday morning, and it's the 8th day of January 2021, 17 minutes after 7, and time to go to the phones and find out what else is going on around the neighborhood. We'll be stopping first at the Sheriff's Department. They're there in living color today, and Officer King is on the phone to give us an update. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you today, Jim?
I'm doing well. Do you get excited over snow?
I love it.
Yeah, I do too. I was up.
I really like driving around in it.
Well, you probably know how to do that defensively too.
Right.
I was up 2 or 3 times in the middle of the night watching to see if it's started yet. Tell us what's going on.
In the past 24 hours, Sheriff's Department has responded to 145 calls for service. There were 18 arrests processed in the jail, and jail currently has 142 people incarcerated. On our incident reports, Raheem Hampton from Old Henrietta Road in Forest City reported a breaking and entering and larceny after breaking and entering. B&D Thrift and Loan, Forest City, reported obtaining property by false pretense. Butler's Jewelry and Pawn, also from Forest City, reported obtaining property by false pretense. And Clayton Bumgardner from Highway 226 in Bostic reported assault with a deadly weapon and communicating threats. On our arrest reports, Milo Henderson from Ledbetter Street in Spindale was served with warrants for larceny of a firearm, failure to appear on misdemeanor, 2 counts, and that he received a $13,000 secured bond. Anthony Smith from Henry Jenkins Road in Morrisboro was served with a warrant for assault and battery, no bond given. Dylan Cooper from Rock Road in Rutherford was served with a warrant for assault on a female, received a domestic violence hold. Candy Ferry from Highway 108 in Mill Springs, North Carolina, was arrested and charged with resisting a public officer and driving while license revoked. Received a $1,000 secured bond. Roy Swink from Fairview Road in Leesville, South Carolina, was served with 1 count failure to appear on misdemeanor. Received a $1,500 secured bond. And Kevin Markland from Cox Road in Rutherford served with warrants for simple assault and communicating threats. And a Kaylee Alexander from Rock Corner Road in Forest City was arrested and charged with possession of methamphetamine and possession of drug paraphernalia. Received a $5,000 secured bond. That's all we have for today.
Officer King, I do appreciate it. Sound like a busy 24 hours, and maybe things will slow down during the snow time.
I hope so.
You have a great weekend. Thanks.
You too, Jim.
Right,
bye-bye.
Bye. Coming up this morning at 9 o'clock, 9:05, I'll be talking with Congresswoman Virginia Fox. She was there in Washington when all that mad rush into the Capitol was taking place. She can give us firsthand information, what it was like and what she thinks about it. Plus, we'll talk about other things she's involved with. But Congresswoman Virginia Fox will be my guest. A little bit different time than I usually interview folks. She's only available at 9 o'clock this morning, so she'll be on with me at 9:05, so be sure to stay tuned to that interview with Virginia Fox, get first-hand view of what took place up there this week. Here's Jessica now with the report from 911 Communications. Jessica, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on the report?
In the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 704 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 34 EMS calls, 28 for rescue. Law Enforcement Sheriff's Office responded to 145, Forest City to 57, Lake Lure to 2, Rutherford to 59, Spindale to 35. Fire calls Bostic responded to a residential fire alarm. Ellenburg responded to a vehicle accident. Forest City responded to a vehicle accident. Rutherford responded to a vehicle accident and a structure fire assisted by Spindale, and Spindale responded to a vehicle accident. And that's all we've got today.
I suspect if folks don't pay attention, there'll be more of those accidents this morning in the snow out there. So people just need to drive defensively, watch those bridges and overpasses.
Yes, definitely.
Jessica, you have a great day. Thank you for the report.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. McCurry Deck Motors has been providing an impressive selection of automobiles for over 50 years. At McCurry Deck, you can browse the great selection of GMC automobiles and drive away in one knowing you have gotten the best deal possible. The team at McCurry Deck Motors counts it a privilege to make you a happy and satisfied customer. Why not test drive one of the comfortable and stylish GMCs today? At GMC, we are professional grade. At McCurry Deck Motors, we're the home of GMC, Chevy, and Buick. 1740 U.S. Highway 74A, Forest City. Here's Ruby Taylor with the SDO report. Good morning, Ruby.
Good morning.
How you like that snow?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it could not come.
What's on the report today?
The fire department didn't have any calls. And on my birthday calendar, I've got Larry Dobbins, Karen Hambrick, and Eddie Coon having birthdays today, and hope they have a nice day. Tomorrow, Chastity Wilkins is having birthday tomorrow, and hope she has a nice day. Sunday, Lindsay McCraw and David Loudermilk is having birthdays. Hope they have a nice day. And the signs are in the secrets today, going to the thighs tomorrow and Sunday. Jim, that's all I got.
Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.
You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Henson Building Materials is returning to our regular days and hours to better serve the fast-growing building needs of the Forest City area. Our hours will be 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. We'll still be taking safety measures, cleaning, wearing masks, and social distancing, all while our friendly and knowledgeable staff will be taking your orders on a variety of building, remodeling, and DIY projects. With the combined experience of over 50 years, Jamie Earls, Terry Dunaway, and Randy Harrell in our 10,000 square foot showroom will get you in and out, loaded and back to your project, all with the flexibility in ordering. And while you're at it, visit our Homeworks by Henson showroom with our 2 designers for all of your kitchen and bath cabinet and countertop design needs. Time to get out, get busy, and visit Henson Building Materials. Building starts here.
Now we're going up to the Fairfield Mountains Fire District. And Gary Wilson's up there bathing in the sun this morning. Gary, how are you?
Yeah, I'm about ready to pass this shovel on to you, Jeff. If you're ready to come up and clean out my driveway.
Did you get quite a bit of snow overnight?
Nah, not really. We've just got a good dusting out there. Grass has got some on it. Road seems to be in pretty good shape. You might hit a couple of spots in some of these curves around here that might have a little coating on them, but so far not bad at all. About 30, still snowing up here though. We got about 34 degrees right now. It's been right around 33, 34 most of the morning, so nothing freezing that we know of right now on the roads, and hopefully it'll stay that way. But it's pretty snow falling.
It is. I ran into a couple of slick spots coming in this morning, and nothing major, but they're out there. Just folks need to be
You get
careful.
some of these north banks and shady areas where sun don't hit. Stays a little colder than the rest of the area does, so you have to watch those going down that hill toward the resort. It's only a tricky couple of curves down through there, so be careful if you're going that way. But I hope we're going to dodge a bullet on anything big. Don't want to get no wet snow piling up and trees and power lines coming down. That's the worst thing you have to deal with around here.
We don't need that, do we?
Nope, sure don't. But we've been quiet every night so far, so we'll see how the rest of the day goes.
Thanks, Gary. I appreciate you looking after things and letting us know, and we'll see you next time.
All right, you have a good day, Jim.
Bye-bye. That's Gary Wilson. He reports to us from the Fairfield Mountains Fire District and also Bills Creek. Now let's hear this word.
Good morning. The impact COVID-19 has had on our community has caused many changes. And some of these changes is our jobs. If your job situation is changing because of a layoff or restructuring, you may have to make several decisions. One of these decisions is what to do with your retirement plan. Let's make sure that your investment plan stays on track and doesn't derail your retirement ideas. Hi, I'm Andrew Tisdale from Rutherford, your Edward Jones financial advisor, and I would love to help you. Please give us a call at 828-287-9197. Our office is located in the Food Line Plaza in Rutherford. Edward Jones, making sense of investing and member of the SIPC. Bye.
Bye. Now let's head over toward the Hudlow Fire District and Bob Hodge. How are things with you today?
Let it snow, let it snow.
Let
We're
it
doing
snow.
just fine on this snowy morning up here.
I believe you and Gene must have done a snow dance overnight.
Well, somebody must have. Looked like it's getting pretty white out here this morning. So it's been nice to have this Christmas Day, wouldn't it?
It would have been nice. It would have.
That's right. Well, Jim, things going along good. Besides the snow up here this morning, it's been pretty quiet with the fire department. Yesterday evening, we answered calls of a brush fire. That's about it with the fire department. And birthdays for Saturdays, Barbara Haynes and Tina Kelly. And Jim, so far things going along good. And look like traffic sort of moving along out here this morning pretty good. And people's driving pretty slow there. So
Good. I hope they will.
So maybe everybody be careful if they have to get out and drive around today, and everything. But that's about it, Jim, up here, and I hope you have a good weekend.
Thanks, Bob. You be careful up there, too, and watch that snowfall, and we'll check in with you next time.
All right.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Bob. Bye-bye. That's Bob Hodge reporting out of the Hudlow Fire District. If you want anything to do with your farm, your garden, or you're anticipating getting one started and need information, our neighbors across the road, their Farmers Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply can be the answer to that. They've got just about anything you need, including hay, big bales of hay. They've got sand, and they've got mulch, and they've got all kinds of dog food. They've got things to make your garden grow when it gets time, or winter garden grow. They've got things for hunting. You ought to check with them. If you've never been, you'll be impressed with Farmers Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply in Ruth, right across the road here from WCAB. You got a good team of workers over there. They'll be glad to help you. We've got some heavy bags of food, dog food, or whatever you have your bags. They'll take that out to the car for you. Latest shopping there is too. It's fun. Farmers Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply. Sue Price is next over in the Cherry Mountain Fire District. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Jim.
Happy Snowy Friday.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty out there. Well, I don't know how much we'll get, but it's ground's covered right now. It's looking pretty. Now, let's see. I didn't have any calls from the fire department. It sounds like some of the other departments, all they had mostly was accidents, so people be real careful.
Yes.
I don't know what's causing so many lately, but just take your time and get there safe. I have no birthdays on my church calendar today. On my personal calendar, I've got a birthday for Gail Tony, so hope Gail's going to have a good day today. And on Fairviews, I've got birthdays for Allie Baker and Pat McGee, so hope those folks will have a good day. And we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day and enjoy it. And I reckon we just all sit back and watch it snow.
It'd be nice to be able to sit in the big front window and watch it snow, wouldn't it?
I know. I told my neighbor yesterday, we were talking, she said, "Are you ready for the snow?" I said, "Well, it'll be something different to look at instead of these four walls that we've been sitting in all this time."
I bet that's true for you. Well, maybe you get a chance just to look out the window, see the birds, trying to find some worms in the snow. It's fun.
Yeah. They're glad getting around my feet are right now here at the window.
Well, you have a great day and a good weekend, Sue.
I hope you do too, Jim.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It's 7:30. Just a reminder, though, if you were scheduled to receive the COVID-19 vaccination today, they've been rescheduled that due to the weather. So please come to the Rutherford County Health Department tomorrow at 2 o'clock or Sunday at 2 o'clock. Now, this is only for individuals already registered to receive the vaccine today. This is not opening up to anybody else, but if you were scheduled, have your vaccination today. They've shutting that down today because of the weather. And come tomorrow or Sunday at 2 o'clock. The Rutherford County Transit will start operating at 10 o'clock today. Courthouse will be opening at 10 o'clock. Isothermal Community College on a 2-hour delay opening at 10 o'clock. No senior center meals today. And Rutherford County offices will operate on a delay opening at 10 o'clock. Now, some of these may change if the snow continues to fall. Some of these may change. But right now, that's the latest word we had. Right, here's Tina now. Tina's up in the...
Hello?
Let's see. Good morning. How are you doing? You're up.
I am doing...
You're up in the Shingle Hollow community, right?
I am.
Is it white up there?
Here in front of... It is white. But the it's not snowing here like you said it's snowing down there. So I'm waiting for it to get here more and more because I'm going to sit right here in my chair and watch it.
Sounds like a good way to spend a Friday morning.
Well, it's very unusual. It's a different view, and it is so beautiful. And I had my I have a big picture window, and I had it replaced earlier in the year, and it's so clear. It's just one of those wonderful windows. The guy that did it did a great job. But I can just sit here and watch everything.
That'd be great.
So we did the snow dance.
Yes.
We did it different. We did it different this year. We wore our pajamas inside out, and we flushed ice cubes, and then we turned the circles backwards.
Flushed ice cubes?
Yeah.
And did what backwards?
Got it from just turned circles backwards.
Oh.
And wore our pajamas inside out.
Well, something
and
worked.
It worked.
Something worked.
Yeah.
Well, are you going to do that again tonight so it'll snow again tomorrow, or what? How long does this ritual last?
Well, we're hoping this lasts the whole, till the ground is covered, maybe a little bit of snow sledding, and then maybe some snow cream, and then come on back in and let it get normal again.
Sounds like a fun.
We don't want it high like it is out in the Wyoming and places like that where you have to shovel out your doorway because it gets 8 foot high. We don't want all that.
Just enough to have fun.
Right.
Yeah.
It is beautiful up here. Okay. So, no, it's 34 degrees, which is odd, but that's on the porch, so maybe that's what it is. And ground's covered. Grass is white. Beautiful. No calls at the fire department in Shingle Hollow. I hadn't heard from Green Hill this morning yet, so I don't know about them. And birthdays. Piney Knob has 3 birthdays today, and one is my neighbor, Miss Linda Searcy. I hope she has a great day. Robin Ashley and Betty Hill. I hope all 3 of those just have a wonderful day. No news. Everybody's going to watch it snow and stay safe.
Yeah, I've never had snow on my birthday.
Is today your birthday?
No, my birthday's in July.
Oh,
So
well, you will never have snow unless you make some fake snow.
Tina, I hope you have a great weekend and enjoy the beauty, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 7:34 on this Friday morning. Continues to snow a little bit as there it comes. Kind of heavy, then it slacks off a little bit, so it's going to be that way. Pretty much, it looks like pretty much all day and then into tonight. So we'll see what takes place. We'll watch it for you. You be sure to turn your radio up so you can pay attention to what's going on. Next phone call coming up in a minute.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304. When it comes to calling a pest control company, people in the know call Hutchins Pest Control. With over 40 years' experience behind them, it's a known fact that Tim Hutchins and his team come ready to do a professional job for you. Licensed in both North and South Carolina and voted the best for 10 years. Hutchins Pest Control comes fully insured, honest, dependable, and on-time service. Call Hutchins Pest Control today at 287-5171 to get rid of your pest and rodent problems.
Here is Brenda Catley now with a report from Union Mills, North Carolina, US of A. Good morning, Brenda.
Good morning on this snowy Friday morning.
Let it snow, let it snow.
I know it. It's pretty falling, ain't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Do your dogs love snow?
Well, Little Blue don't. And Easy, this will probably be the first snow she's seen.
Yeah?
Yeah. But it's hard to get them to go out if it's raining.
Yeah,
they don't like, dogs don't like to be out in the weather.
Yeah, my dog's that way too.
Yeah. But I don't know of anything going on except the snow, and it is pretty falling, and it's snowing up here, and the ground's all white, and the car's white, and everything. So I guess supposed to do it about all day, ain't it?
It is, yeah. Most of the snow too, I think.
Yeah, and I think I've got 30 degrees on the front porch, so it's been teetering between 30 and 32, but the bushes is all white, and the cedar tree out front, it's getting white, so it looks like a Christmas card.
Yes, make a picture of it and turn yours into a Christmas card next year.
There you go. I don't know. I done been out and filled my bird feeder up because them little birds had really laid in there with it, and they're out there now just eating and fighting over it.
They love it, don't they?
Yeah.
Do squirrels get in your bird feeder?
No, Donald found something years ago that looks like you took a round ball and cut it half in two and then inserted it up into the pole that's holding the bird feeder up, and they can't get their toes up on that to get up in there. But they've tried. They try every day. So,
that's interesting. I'd like to know what it is.
I don't know, and I don't know where he got it, but it's been out there for years. But the squirrels cannot climb it, so that's good. But they get up in that tree and they'll sit down and try to figure out how to get in that bird feeder, but they ain't figured it out yet. and squirrels are a smart little creature.
They are, absolutely. They know exactly.
Yeah.
They know when you fill that bird feeder and when it's
sure.
empty.
And if you spill any on the ground, they're down there just gathering it up. But that's all right. They can have what's on the ground. The birds can have what's in the feeder. But I don't know of anything going on. Just caution everybody to be careful. And if you've got a neighbor that's elderly and can't get out, and check on them and see that they've got what they need. And I know you said there'd be no Meals on Wheels, but they did take them extra yesterday, right?
Right, that's correct.
Okay, I was going to say if anybody needed a meal, you need to check on that and see if you could get one to them, you know, your neighbor or something.
Good idea, and check on their heating, too, make sure they're warm enough.
That's right. So I've got plenty of wood, but that's all right. I've got electric heaters just in case. It gets so cold you can't stand it. But
all right,
I don't know of anything going on, so I guess you need to go check on Luther Sweet Thing Gilligan, see if we got snow in Ellenberg.
You have a good day up there.
Okay, catch you later.
All right, bye. That's the county report and the Luther report coming up next. It's 7:39, 33 degrees here in Rutherfordton.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers of Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. They continue to strive hard to keep that honor. Come on in and see for yourself. Take a look at the all-new design 2021 F-150 or reserve an all-new 2021 Bronco coming in the spring. Don't miss out on the automobile you've been wanting at the Sisk Family Ford price. Take your pick while the picking is good on Oak Street in Forest City.
Here's the Ellenboro reporter, Luther Gilligan. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, you too. It's snowing up there?
It is snowing up here.
Well, it's snowing down here too. Not heavy, but you had to look at it and see it. But you get out there, you can feel it.
Yep. It has covered the ground pretty good, wind chills and things like that.
Yeah.
It was snowing pretty heavy when I came in this morning. It kind of a big flakes, but it's slacked off to tiny flakes now.
Yeah, it's not much falling out right now. But my whole truck is covered front to top to back to side. One the other side's clear. But it wasn't bad. Just went to the windshield wipers on it, knocked it right off.
Well, you don't have to go anywhere today, do you?
I hope not.
You can stay in where it's
I'm not going to venture far. I'm going to stay in where it's dry and warm.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, try not to get out too much. But it's quiet there this morning. Not a whole lot going on. Not a whole lot of traffic on the road. But people still get out going to work. And getting their biscuit and their coffee and moving on up the road. Let's see. The fire department, they went out yesterday. They had one medical call. And then they had one accident last night on, over you got more miles somewhere, but they never did find it. So it must not have been too much of an accident. And then about 3:15 this morning, went over to assisted poke for a structure fire. But they're quiet right now. They're just sitting around enjoying their coffee. So nothing else going on down here, Jim. You have a great day up there. Build your snowman. We'll talk to you next week.
I'll see you then. Have a good one.
All right, take care now.
Bye. 7:42 this morning, and Friday morning report it is on a snowy Friday morning, the 8th day of January. It's time for birthdays and anniversaries. If you are celebrating, we would like to celebrate with you. Give you a big shout out on the radio to thousands and thousands of people, not only on 100.9 FM and 590 AM, but on the World Wide Web this morning. And folks are listening and watching from a lot of different places. Good morning, those of you on the web. We love to have you as well. Thank you. So call your birthdays in now, 287-3356. And let me remind you that Congresswoman Virginia Fox will be my guest a little after 9 o'clock this morning. She'll give us her analysis of what happened in Washington a couple of days ago and what she thinks of it and where she was, and give us a first-hand look from inside the congressional rooms. That's this morning at 9:05 with Congresswoman Virginia Fox.
It's great to get discounts on beautiful furniture, and thanks to the Recliner Center, you can get 10% off everything in the store. 10% off lift chairs, 10% off sofas, 10% off recliners, 10% off bedding. Angela has changed her hours to suit your schedule. The Recliner Center is now open Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 4, and Saturdays, 9 to 2. And, of course, you can make an appointment by calling 828-395-3562. Come by soon and pick out the recliner, sofa, or lift chair that best suits you and get 10% off your purchase. Come by and see Angela Cooper at the Recliner Center today. The Recliner Center is on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
That's really something to crow about. It's the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's in Spindale. Get yours today while they're fresh. They're good. They're delicious. It's Daylight Donuts. It's something to crow about. Happy birthday. Happy birthday wishes going out to Lee Smith up in Golden Valley. Works at Morgan tonight. We wish Lee a happy, happy birthday. It's the only birthday we've had this morning. So happy, especially good birthday to Lee Smith. Just a couple of reminders, those of you who get up late, didn't hear these others. The Rutherford County offices will be operating on a delayed basis this morning, opening at 10 o'clock. Please be advised to continue exercise caution as some of the side roads and the parking lots and the steps and sidewalks may still be hazardous, so be careful about that. Rutherford County Transit will start operations at 10 o'clock today. Courthouse opens at 10 o'clock this morning. There'll be no senior center meals today at the senior center. Isothermal Community College, only 2-hour delay, opening at 10 o'clock. Rutherford County Schools Council today. And if you're one of these that had their COVID-19 vaccination set for today, they're postponing all those until tomorrow or Sunday. So if you had scheduled today due to the weather, please come on Saturday at 2 o'clock or Sunday at 2 o'clock. This is only for individuals already registered to receive the vaccination on Friday. Joy Hoyle is also having a birthday today. Congratulations to Joy.
Do you feel you could have played the piano well if only you would have practiced? Have you ever found yourself telling your children they could be very good at something if only they would practice? Fritz Kreisler, a magnificent violinist, never liked to practice. His wife, who was deeply concerned about his career, repeatedly kept after him to do it anyway. Mr. Kreisler seemed to work as hard at finding excuses not to practice as his wife did at trying to get him to practice. Toward the end of his life, a great banquet was held in Kreisler's honor. One speaker after another rose to speak of him in glowing terms. One even said, "He is the world's greatest living musician." Beaming, Fritz Kreisler turned to his wife and said, "Did you ever hear such praise?" Without cracking a smile, Mrs. Kreisler said, "Yes, but think what they could have said if you had practiced." Jesus told the story of 3 different people who were given various amounts of money to invest for their master. The first 2 servants doubled their principal, but the 3rd servant hid his money in the ground. When the master came back, he was grateful for the wise stewardship of the first 2, but became visibly upset with the carelessness of the 3rd. We are all given a certain number of abilities. It is what we do with them that is important. The ability we receive is God's gift to us, but what we do with that ability is our gift to God. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
around the world impacted by the grounding of those jets. Police in Columbus, Ohio released more body camera footage from the day an officer shot and killed a black man, Andre Hill. The cop who shot him, Adam Coy, has been fired. The deadly shark attack in New Zealand. A woman was pulled under by a shark at a beach about 100 miles from the capital of Auckland. It's the first death from a shark attack there in almost a decade. Tonight, the final episode of Jeopardy, hosted by Alex Trebek before his death, will air. This is ABC News.
Ready to create your own income with your own home-based business where there's no such thing as getting laid off? If a billionaire entrepreneur spent 5 years and $20 million searching for the next big trend, wouldn't you want to know what he found? If you're serious about making money from home without having to leave home, then write this down. www.goherenext.com. You decide your income. Get the facts now. Goherenext.com.
Brian Clark, ABC News.
Hello, everyone. We're seeing areas of chilly rain and also a rain-snow mix across the midday hours. This will continue at times for this afternoon with temperatures in the low to mid-30s, where temperatures can be in the lower 30s, that rain-snow mix more likely. Most to all areas will see all snow later on this afternoon and evening as temperatures drop. Minor accumulations are likely and a winter storm warning is in effect. We're looking drier and cooler for the weekend. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
And we are under that winter weather advisory until midnight tonight. Winter storm to impact portions of western Carolinas and northeast Georgia through this evening. A storm system moving across Georgia and the Carolinas will maintain periods of precipitation across the region today before tapering off this evening. Sufficient cold air will be in place for mainly snow to fall across much of the mountains, plus the North Carolina foothills and I-40 corridor through the Piedmont. Heavy snow accumulations will be possible in these areas. A wintry mix of rain, snow, and sleet will occur closer to the South Carolina border, with many of these areas changing to snow before the event ends. Winter weather advisory remains in effect until midnight tonight. I did receive a message that there has been an accident up on 64-226 highway. Two semi-trucks stuck and a pickup truck also over in the ditch and gully. That's on Highway 64 and 226. Two semis stuck this morning, and a pickup truck also involved. So if you're traveling that direction, you might want to find an alternative route. Don't know of any illnesses or injuries because of this, but that is taking place. Just got a call a moment ago from Chad, and he saw that firsthand. But so please keep in mind the roads. Don't assume that you know the road conditions just because it's snowing lightly out there. Don't assume that you know the road conditions because you may not know them as well as you think you do. Particularly going around some curves and down hills, it may be worse than you actually think. Now, coming in this morning, there were sections where I came in is heavy snow. Then I ran out of the heavy snow, just light snow, the heavy snow again. So that's the kind of thing we're having this morning. So the routes you're traveling may be part of that heavy snow. So please watch out for that, particularly bridges and overpasses. They freeze over first. We are under that winter weather advisory and expect more snow today and tonight. But tomorrow it's all going away because it's supposed to be sunny with highs around 48 and light wind, dropping back to below freezing Sunday night, or rather Saturday night with lows around 23. Sunday, beautiful, 49 sunny degrees, and dropping back down to below freezing again on Sunday night with 26. Then Monday we have highs around 46, and Monday night we have another chance of mixture of rain and snow. Lows around 34 with that northeast wind blowing about 5 miles per hour. But the chance is only 20% right now for that. Then Tuesday, chance of snow showers. No rain mixture there, just snow according to this report. But here again, only a 20% chance of that happening. Wednesday of next week, January 13th, mostly sunny and warm, about 50 degrees, our daytime high. So that's the kind of week we're having next week with the weather. It's a crazy mixed up weather pattern. It comes and goes, but we will watch out for that. Now, let me give you an update. You may have heard most of these already, but some folks get up a little later than other folks. Rutherford County offices will operate on a delayed schedule today, opening at 10 o'clock. That's the Rutherford County offices. And Rutherford County Transit will start operations at 10 o'clock this morning. Courthouse opens at 10 o'clock with the activities there in the courthouse. Isothermal Community College on a 2-hour delay, opening at 10 o'clock. Rutherford County Schools canceled today. No senior center meals today. They took care of the Wheels on Wheels folks yesterday for today as well. So that's the way that happens. And if you're scheduled to get the COVID-19 vaccination today, if you're on the schedule to have that done, they postponed that till tomorrow. So come to the health department Saturday at 2 o'clock or Sunday at 2 o'clock. And this is only for individuals already registered to receive the vaccination today. It's not for new applicants, only those that were scheduled to come today. They're not doing that today, so they ask you to come tomorrow or Sunday at 2 o'clock. Now, with that said, with the snow continuing to fall, temperature remaining where it is right now, these things may change. We may get word later on this morning. Right now, though, rest on the 10 o'clock starts, but they may change because as the snow continues to fall, there may be some other changes, and we'll be available to answer those calls and get that information on the air for you. So if you are the decision maker in your organization and you have to make the call, just let us know. Call us at 287-3356 or text me, and we'll sure get that message on to everybody so everybody will know. One other program note, this morning at 9:05, we're varying my interview time a little bit because of schedule, but Virginia Fox, Congresswoman Virginia Fox, will be on 9:05, and she'll give us a first-hand look at what happened up there in Washington. She's a member of Congress, in the House, and she knows exactly what took place, and she'll give us a first-hand inside look at that, plus her feelings on what took place. So join me at 9:05 this morning as I interview Congresswoman Virginia Fox, right here exclusively on WCAB 100.9 FM, 590 AM. And thank you for making WCAB your radio station of choice to turn to.
It's a new month, and a new crop of scratch-offs are ready to harvest. These tickets are fresh off the vine and plump with prizes. Oh yeah, smells like a winner to me. So come on down. Your freshest chances to win in an instant are ready with new scratch-offs like Mega Bucks and Quick 100s from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Kinda gives cash crop a whole new meaning. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 4.05 to 4.63. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
So folks wanted to know if I could decipher the latest word from the governor and Mandy Cohen, the Secretary of Health. As best I can, I'll try to do that. So due to the increasing number of confirmed positive cases of COVID-19 and the rising numbers of individuals hospitalized with COVID-19 and in the intensive care unit with COVID-19, they find the issuance of the secretarial directive necessary to protect the health of the people. Now, this is what they presented the other day. As of January 6th, which was Wednesday, 84 of North Carolina's 100 counties are currently categorized as red on the county alert system, indicating the highest level of viral spread. In recent weeks, North Carolina has experienced record high numbers of cases reported each day, the percent of tests that are positive and people hospitalized with COVID-19. This secretarial directive instructs individuals to take immediate action in an effort to protect themselves and others from COVID-19. The individual measures set forth below are in accordance with the recommendations from the White House Coronavirus Task Force and the governor's executive orders on COVID-19 and align with the COVID-19 county alert. Now here, individuals in North Carolina are directed to adhere to the following. All right, flip the paper over. All the rattling of the paper here. Wear a mask at all times and maintain physical distance at least 6 feet apart from people when outside your home to maximum extent possible. Face coverings continue to be most highly effective way of mitigating the spread of COVID-19, they say, along with social distancing and washing hands. Face coverings do not replace the need for social distancing or washing hands. All three actions are needed to reduce the risk of spread. North Carolina numbers are so high, does that mean North Carolina people don't wash their hands? Come on, folks, wash your hands. Do not enter any indoor public spaces where anyone is unmasked or when you see crowds of people who are not physically distanced. Do not enter. This is what Mandy Cohen is telling us and the governor's authorization. Excuse me. Stay at home. Limit your public interactions to essential activities such as going to work or school, for healthcare purposes, to care for family members, or to buy food. Avoid leaving your home if you are over 65 or at high risk for developing serious illness. Use delivery services or alternative pickup methods for food and retail to the greatest extent possible to avoid in-person interaction with individuals you do not live with. Remain at home between the hours of 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. unless an exception as set forth in the governor's executive order applies. Now, I don't know what's so dangerous about after 10 o'clock, but that's the time limit they've set on bars and restaurants. And now they're telling you to stay at home between the hours of 10 p.m. and 9 a.m., 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. to be safer. And don't go visiting people. Avoid gathering with individuals that you do not live with. Multiple households should not commingle. If you cannot avoid gathering, keep the gathering strictly outdoors and as small as possible. Wear a mask at all times and avoid activities such as eating that require the removal of your mask. Avoid activities such as eating that require the removal of your mask. What do they want us to do? Wear a mask at all times and avoid activities such as eating that require the removal of your mask. Avoid settings where people may congregate in large numbers, such as entertainment venues. Assume you have become infected. If you have gathered with individuals that you do not live with, and get tested. Assume you are infected. Most likely you will not have symptoms. However, you are dangerous to others, and you must isolate away from anyone at increased risk for severe illness and get tested. Get tested if you have been exposed to someone with COVID-19. Get tested if you have symptoms of COVID-19. Answer the call and participate in contact tracing to protect against further spread if you receive a call from COVID-19 community team. Get the COVID-19 vaccine when it's available to you. Get a flu shot. Download the Slow COVID NC app and share with friends and family. If you test positive, enter your PIN into the app to notify close contacts to get tested. That's some of the things they set down on Wednesday, Governor Cooper and Mandy Cohen. And they're asking us to abide by all of those. Some of them are a little bit rigid, but if you feel very strongly about it, then you should do it. Never have understood riding down the highway when you're the only one in the car and you got a mask on. Never have understood quite that, but if that makes you feel good, you do it. You got a text from a good friend. He says, stay home and be so afraid. All right. Some of us have to go out and go to work. All right, snowing beautifully outside. White stuff falling all over. That S word is going to be used all day today. And we've got more stuff to talk about. Remember my interview with Congresswoman Virginia Fox coming up at 9:05 this morning.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we have a number of vaccines, including the Quad-Vac flu immunization at no cost with most insurance plans. If you have any concerns about the flu vaccination, please call our pharmacy and ask to speak to one of our pharmacists. We also have the Tdap, pneumococcal, and shingles vaccinations available. With COVID-19 continuing, we have masks, mask lanyards, hand sanitizers, disinfectant spray, and gloves while supplies last. Seating in our fountain is still limited to 65 patrons on a first-come, first-served basis. We are continuing to offer curbside pickup for the fountain and prescription pickup. Please utilize our drive-through prescription window at the back of the store. And remember that our back entrance is still closed to the public at this time. Please check our Facebook page for any updates on over-the-counter and gift shop items. Our home medical equipment department is ready to help you with any of your CPAP needs, mobility, bathroom safety, lift chairs, and any diabetic needs to include meters, test strips, and shoes. Please call us with any questions you may have about any of our services or message us on our Facebook page. We are located at 139 East Main Street in downtown Forest City. Our phone number is 828-245-4591.
For a delicious meal every day, call on Gregory's Original. Choose from their top menu of burgers, subs, grinders, pasta dishes, fresh salads, and so much more. All dishes are prepared fresh daily. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., Saturday, noon until 9 p.m. Now at Gregory's, try the family-style meals. The dining room is now open, but curbside and takeout is still available. Enjoy lunch or dinner today with your favorite meal from Gregory's. Call 287-2171, located in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherford's Gregory's Original.
Hello, this is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. Are you on disability? Or maybe you're on Medicare? Or maybe both? Come see me, Dwayne Hunt, at Insurance Service Associates about a Medicare Advantage product brought to you by Humana. Please give me a call, 245-5301, at Insurance Service Associates, 127 East Trade Street, Forest City.
Just got this new information from Isothermal Community College. Due to continued snow and poor road conditions, Isothermal Community College will be closed today. They were on a 2-hour starting at 10 o'clock delay, but now they have decided to close all day today. Isothermal Community College, due to continued snow and poor road conditions, Isothermal Community College will be closed all day today. So, academia folks, go back to bed. 20 minutes after 8 o'clock, Officer King was on with us earlier to give us the news from the Sheriff's Department. We recorded it for broadcast at this time. Officer King.
In the past 24 hours, Sheriff's Department has responded to 145 calls for service. There were 18 arrests processed in the jail, and jail currently has 142 people incarcerated. On our incident reports, Raheem Hampton from Old Henrietta Road in Forest City reported a breaking and entering and larceny after breaking and entering. B&D Thrift and Loan, Forest City, reported obtaining property by false pretense. Butler's Jewelry and Pawn, also from Forest City, reported obtaining property by false pretense. And Clayton Bumgardner from Highway 226 in Bostic reported assault with a deadly weapon and communicating threats. On our arrest reports, Milo Henderson from Ledbetter Street in Spindale was served with warrants for larceny of a firearm, failure to appear on misdemeanor, 2 counts, and that he received a $13,000 secured bond. Anthony Smith from Henry Jenkins Road in Morrisboro was served with a warrant for assault and battery, no bond given. Dylan Cooper from Rock Road in Rutherford was served with a warrant for assault on a female, received a domestic violence hold. Candy Ferry from Highway 108 in Mill Springs, North Carolina, was arrested and charged with resisting a public officer and driving while license revoked, received a $1,000 secured bond. Roy Swink from Fairview Road in Leesville, South Carolina, was served with 1 count, failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $1,500 secured bond. And Kevin Markland from Cox Road in Rutherford served with warrants for simple assault and communicating threats. And Kaylee Alexander from Rock Corner Road in Forest City was arrested and charged with possession of methamphetamine and possession of drug paraphernalia, received a $5,000 secured bond. That's all we have for today.
22 after 8 o'clock on this beautiful snowy Friday morning, 8th of January 2021. You know, let me say this before I give the rest of it. I do not believe for a minute that Donald Trump instigated that stuff in Washington did. I don't believe he was. Yes, he talked too much on his speech he gave. He probably got a lot of folks riled up, but I don't believe for a minute that he instigated that and said, "You guys go do this." I don't believe that he had anything to do with that at all. I just think he probably just said, give them encouragement to keep supporting me. But anyway, there are a lot of folks talking about using Article 25, and have him removed from office because he was responsible for that. Or Nancy Pelosi wanted to impeach him for sure now, and they're bailing out on him because of all of this. Well, yes, he pressed it further than probably he should. He should have go ahead and accept the defeat after he realized that nobody was going to follow through with it. I believe that there was some corruption in the election, but I can't prove it. I don't have any proof, but there's somewhere there in the system they had folks that did not tally all the votes. I believe that was not a fair election, but nothing we can do about it now, and I think he should just said, okay, we'll fight harder the next time. But Rush Limbaugh explains why Trump backers in the government abandoned ship, and he gave a long dissertation on that yesterday. And he says lawmakers are backing down with some exceptions who exercise their constitutional right to object to electoral votes due to evidence of irregularities. Limbaugh recalled making a prescient announcement of Trump's chief opponent just weeks before the 2016 election. He said for 4 years that establishment figures are going to do everything they can to destroy whoever it is they want to control, and they've been shooting at him for 4 years now. It's a wonder the man's been able to stand up for anything. But it's over with now in terms of Donald Trump's term, and the inauguration's coming up in a couple of weeks, and we got to live up under it. So I don't know. We're supposed to have an update from sports, but NCN must be snowed in this morning. They couldn't get it out this morning. On his show Thursday, Limbaugh said he was able to say that 3 weeks before the 2016 election, because he knows how people on the left think. I know what we're up against. I know who they are. There it is. All right, guys.
NCN Sports. Good morning. I'm Tony Rixby. Dana Evans scored 22 points, including 4 in the final minute and 7 seconds. Number 2, Louisville slipped past Virginia Tech 71-67 in ACC basketball last night. Evans hit 11 of 22 shots from the floor, made a critical steal in the waning moments for the Cardinals, who survived their toughest test of the season. Hokies rallied from a 16-point first-half deficit to take the lead, but couldn't hold on and lost their 3rd straight game. In the NBA last night, the Mavericks outlasted the Nuggets in overtime. Bruce Morton has that story from Denver.
Dallas got some clutch overtime hopes from Josh Richardson to emerge with a 124-117 victory over the Nuggets. The Mavs were led by 38 points from Luka Doncic. Richardson's bucket with 1:57 left in the extra session lifted Dallas up for good at 116-114. Then he added a three-pointer with 1:25 left, making it 119-114, and the Mavericks were on their way. Tying Doncic for scoring honors was the Nuggets' Nikola Jokic, also with 38. Bruce Morton, Denver.
Alabama receiver and Heisman Trophy winner Devonta Smith is added to his collection of postseason honors, receiving the Maxwell Award as the College Football Player of the Year. Smith won the Maxwell Award over Alabama quarterback and Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence, becoming the first wideout to win the award since Michigan's Desmond Howard back in 1991. Smith also won the Walter Camp Player of the Year and the Biletnikoff Award as the nation's top receiver. New York Mets pulling off their biggest trade since Steve Cohen purchased the team back in November. The Mets have landed shortstop Francisco Lindor and pitcher Carlos Carrasco from the Cleveland Indians. The Mets part with infielders Andres Jimenez and Armand Rosario, as well as right-handed pitcher Josh Wolf. You're listening to NCN Sports.
Life is made up of moments. Exciting moments. Scary moments.
Insufficient funds.
Moments you wish you could forget. And moments that change your life forever. Any one of these could also be the moment you decide to enroll in a North Carolina community college. Need a job and want a quick option to boost your chances? Looking to gain new skills to go farther in the career you have? Maybe you're interested in a 2-year degree so you can start working sooner, or want to get a jump start to transfer to a 4-year university later. Whatever you need, North Carolina community colleges are ready for you. Get an affordable, high-quality education. And yes, financial aid options are available too. So make the next moment the one you decide to invest in yourself. Visit yourhighereducation.com today. That's your HIRE education.com. Your future you will thank you.
As states begin to run out of space to administer coronavirus vaccines, professional football executives are stepping in. CBS News correspondent Lisa Mateo reports.
The NFL is suggesting teams contact their state and local health departments and offer their stadiums and practice facilities to host the thousands waiting in line for a dose. Many sports arenas have already begun pitching in. The University of Michigan's Big House.
This is Gilbert. If you owe the IRS past due taxes, don't call those toll-free national numbers. Local, affordable help is right here in Rutherford County. Stop garnishments, levies, and liens. Call Gilbert Carmona at 828-289-9300. All initial consultations are free. Call Gilbert, 828-289-9300.
Hello, everyone. We're seeing areas of chilly rain and also a rain-snow mix across the midday hours. This will continue at times for this afternoon with temperatures in the low to mid-30s, where temperatures can be in the lower 30s. That rain-snow mix more likely. Most to all areas will see all snow later on this afternoon and evening as temperatures drop. Minor accumulations are likely and a winter storm warning is in effect. We're looking drier and cooler for the weekend. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
We've been hanging right loose here at 33 degrees just about all morning now. We have some pretty heavy snowfall out there. The grounds are being covered, the roads are covering, so please be careful. And that we'll get up only to 38 today, so that's not very warm with all this snow. Wind gusting to 60 miles per hour. This is hope and pray the snow don't land on these tree limbs and the tree limbs land on the power lines, and we'll be okay and can enjoy the beauty of the weekend. This snow may be with us throughout today, tonight, but tomorrow is going to be sunny. We are under a winter weather advisory until midnight tonight, so keep that in mind as well. One more quick reminder of what the schedule changes today. Then we'll get to the Word of Faith radio program. Rutherford County Transit operations start at 10 o'clock. Courthouse opens at 10 o'clock. No senior center meals today. Isothermal Community College closed today, and Rutherford County Schools has been canceled today as well. Rutherford County offices operating on a delayed schedule. They'll be opening at 10 o'clock as of right now. And some of these may change throughout the morning, but we'll stay tuned right here. We'll let you know. And if you're scheduled to receive the COVID-19 vaccinations today, it's been rescheduled due to the weather. So please come to the Rutherford County Health Department tomorrow at 2 o'clock or Sunday at 2 o'clock. And this is only for individuals already registered to receive the vaccine today. So that's how that works out right now. So with that said, it's time now for the Word of Faith radio program. And with the program this morning, here is Hannah Davis.
Good morning, Rutherford County. This is Hannah Davies with the Word of Faith Fellowship. It is so good to be back with you again today. And I'm here today to remind you, first of all, that the devil is a liar. He's a liar. Whatever he tells us, it's a lie. And I just want to encourage you, every single one of us have a plan of God for our lives, and the devil wants to stop it in some way. Every day, all day long, he wants to bring something to discourage us, to make us doubt, to make us have fear, and to get us to take our eyes off Jesus, and we cannot listen to him. And I've really been learning in my own life every day to recognize what thoughts are from the devil and what thoughts are from God, because the devil is constantly there trying to bring torment to us and lie to us. And throughout the Bible, we can see the devil's plan to constantly discourage, bring doubt, bring fear, and lie to the people of God. And starting out with Adam and Eve, the very first thing after God had given Eve his word, and she was in that garden, the devil came and said, "Can it be that God really said that you cannot eat of the tree, and the tree that God had told them not to eat of?" And she fell prey to the devil's plan right then and listened to that lie and ended up obeying the devil and bringing a major curse on herself and all of humanity because she listened to that devil. Going forward, there's so many examples in the Bible of those who listened to the devil or those who listened to God and fought against that devil. And one passage that has really been standing out to me is in Numbers 13 and 14. And this is where the children of Israel had come out of the land of Egypt, out of the bondage that they had been in there. And they were going through the desert, preparing to go into the promised land that God had spoken to them, God had given to them. And Moses sent the 12 spies to scout out the land and to go see what was it like, what fruit did they have, what people lived there, what were the cities like. And those 12 spies went in, and they were there for 40 days, and they came back, and 10 of them had one report, and 2 of them had a different report. And yes, they all saw the same things in that land. So if we look at that passage, the spies returned, and 10 of them were saying the people who dwell there are strong, the cities are fortified and very large, and there are giants. And in their minds, this land was going to be too hard to go into, too hard to possess. And Caleb, he was one of the 2 spies who believed God, and he held to the word of God. He quieted the people and said, "Let us go up at once and possess it. We are well able to conquer it." The others turned around and said, "We are not able to go up against the people of Canaan, for they are stronger than we are." And how many times does the devil try to bring that one thought of doubt in our hearts to make us totally let go of what we know God has told us? And it could be in little things all throughout the day, where the devil tells us, "You're too busy. You've got too much to do. This isn't going to work out. You're not going to get better. You don't feel good. You're not going to make it." Whatever that lie is, we've got to see it is the devil coming to try to totally steal away the promised land that God has for us. And in Numbers, God was very grieved with those who would not believe him. And he said, "How long will this people provoke, spurn, and despise me? And how long will it be before they believe me, trusting in, relying on, and clinging to me for all the signs which I have performed among them?" God has done so much in every one of our lives already. And the devil wants to make us doubt. He wants to totally steal the plan of God. And if you continue studying in that passage in Numbers, those who would not believe God's word and who believed the lie of the devil and were not ready to fight against the devil and conquer what God had for them, they never got to go into the promised land. And God said, "My servant Caleb, because he has a different spirit and has followed me fully, I will bring into the land into which he went, and his descendants shall possess it." And we know that God allowed Caleb and Joshua to go in, the 2 spies who believed, and they chose to look at those circumstances God's way instead of the devil's way. Years ago, I began to learn in my own life, and I'm still learning every day how to fight against that devil and how to realize everything in our life, those steps that God wants us to take, the devil's going to bring opposition and try to stop us in every way he can. Let's look at some others in the Bible who believed God and fought for his will no matter what the devil said. When we look at David and Goliath in 1 Samuel 17, those armies had been looking at each other with the army of Israel afraid of the Philistines for a long time. They had been on those mountains right there in battle, and Goliath kept coming out day after day and threatening them and attacking God's people. And there was a spirit of fear among them where they were not looking to God, the army of Israel, to come against and defeat that giant. And David came out, and in the natural, he was a young man. He had been tending his father's sheep. He was younger than the rest of that army, and in the natural, maybe he didn't have the strength and the experience that the others had had, but he had his God, and he knew what God said. And it rose up out of his heart, who is this uncircumcised Philistine? Who does he think he is to come against the armies of the living God? And that's the way we've got to see the devil. The power of God is boundless. The power of God is so strong. And I've seen it in my own life, and I'm still learning every day. At every one of those points where the devil wants us to back up, God has a much better plan, and he's right there if we'll cling to him and trust him. In Nehemiah had a fight in his heart and a love in his heart for God. And he really had it in his heart to rebuild the city of Jerusalem. And what came? Opposition came. Sanballat and Tobiah were there threatening, and others were lying and mocking God's people, to the point that they had the families of Israel lined up, all in their places, repairing that wall and rebuilding the city. And at times when fear would want to come, Nehemiah recognized the devil for who he was, and he could have drawn back, but he did not. And this verse has really meant a lot to me. In Nehemiah 4 verse 14, Nehemiah arranged the families in all their places, and he said, I looked them over and rose up and said to the nobles and the officials and the other people, do not be afraid of the enemy. Earnestly remember the Lord and imprint him on your minds, great and terrible, and take from him courage to fight for your brethren, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your homes. Each one of us is in a fight. There's been a lot going on all around us, whether it's been sickness, whether it's been what's going on politically, whatever it is, the devil's right there trying to get us to back off and stop fighting, and we cannot stop. In 2 Chronicles 32, Hezekiah was really encouraging God's people when the Assyrians were coming against them. He said, be strong and courageous. Be not afraid or dismayed before the king of Assyria and all the horde that is with him. For there is another with us greater than all those with him. God doesn't look at numbers. God doesn't look at how strong we are, how weak we are, what obstacles we may really have in our way. He has the way out. And Hezekiah told the people of Israel, with him, with the king of Assyria, who was not on God's side, with him is an arm of flesh, but with us is the Lord our God to help us and to fight our battles. We're in a battle. We're in a good fight every day, and we cannot forget that our God is right there to help us. And we've got to have his word. It's only through him that we can fight. We've got to know what Jesus is saying to us. Throughout the New Testament, we see so many people who came to Jesus and were determined to get to Jesus against all odds, against everything that was standing in their way. Some had had sicknesses for all their lives, and they were determined, like the woman who was determined to get to Jesus and reach out and touch his garment, and she was healed. She had a persistence in her heart. We see Zacchaeus. He couldn't get to Jesus, but he couldn't get where he could see Jesus easily. But he got up in that tree and he was determined to see Jesus. That's the determination that God wants to bring in our hearts, that we're not giving up. We are going to fight the good fight of our faith. In Luke 18, Jesus talks about persistence, and he told his disciples and his people a parable to the effect that they ought always to pray and not to turn coward, faint, lose heart, or give up. And how many times does the devil want us to give up? Maybe it's schoolwork, and the devil says it's too hard. You can't learn. You can't make it. You can't get this. Maybe God's put it in your heart to work a certain job, and the devil's telling you you can't. Maybe it's a relationship, and the devil's trying to tell you it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Just give up. Don't fight for that person. Don't keep giving them God's love. Maybe it's, a sickness. It doesn't matter what it is. We're going to be persistent, and we're going to keep our eyes on Jesus. And Jesus gave the example of in a certain city there was a judge who neither reverenced and feared God nor respected or considered man. And there was a widow in that city. And this is the story where the widow kept coming back and begging that judge to give her justice. She kept persisting, and she kept persisting. She didn't give up. She didn't stop. And even the unjust judge, Jesus showed the example where he would finally listen and give that woman what she needed, give her justice. And Jesus told them, will not our just God defend and protect and avenge his elect, his chosen ones who cry to him day and night? Will he defer them and delay help on their behalf? I tell you, he will defend and protect and avenge them speedily. However, when the Son of Man comes, will he find persistence in faith on the earth? And we want Jesus to find us being persistent. We want him to find us as those who believed him and fought to the end and endured to the end and didn't give up because the devil brought a lie and we believed it. And again, it can even be in the seemingly small things where the devil wants us to believe something that's not truth about ourselves. You know, you can't cook, your food never tastes good when you make it. It could be little things that the devil wants to discourage us, where God wants us to believe him and fight and keep going and not let the devil pull us down. In Hebrews 12, verses 1 and 2, this has really meant a lot to me. And in Hebrews 11, it talks about all the men and women of faith and those who believed God and obeyed God throughout the Bible. And right at the beginning of Hebrews 12, it says, "Therefore then, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses who have borne testimony to the truth, let us strip off and throw aside every encumbrance, unnecessary weight, and that sin which so readily clings to and entangles us, and let us run with patient endurance and steady and active persistence the appointed course of the race that is set before us." And this is the key part: looking away from all that will distract to Jesus. And I know in my life, there's been times when I've really been tormented about something, and I'll just stop. And I've stopped and I've said, "Jesus, what are you saying to me about this?" And it is completely different. It's completely different to look at it God's way than that devil's way, and get those distractions out of the way and get our eyes on Jesus. Jesus fought through more than any of us had to fight through when he gave his life on the cross for us, and he fought to do the will of God for his life. And he's our example. It says, you know, he's the leader and the source of our faith. And I just want to encourage you today, don't give up. Don't quit, because the devil is right there lying to your mind. You may think it's you, but it's not. It's the devil wanting to discourage you. Jesus is our peace. He's our answer. And it's only through him that we can have that peace and not listen to the lies of the devil. In Colossians, Paul told us to set our minds and keep them set on what is above, the higher things. And I have a song that God's put in my heart where we've got to keep our eyes on Jesus, and no matter what fear and doubt tries to come against our mind, we can turn to him and he can give us peace.
Has fear and doubt come against your mind? Has your faith been sorely tried? Lift up your eyes, here cometh your help. It is Jesus for you. He has died. When you look to Jesus, wanting his will, you can trust in his faithfulness. Looking to Jesus with all of your heart, he will hear you and give you peace. If by faith you cry out to him, he will meet your
And again, Jesus cares about you today. He cares about whatever you may be facing. And I know there's people all around us that need encouragement every day. Every one of us, in some form or another, that devil is coming, trying to get us to stop. And like that song said, if you take that one step and cry out to Jesus, he will have the answer for you. And it's through him that you can fight against that devil and tell that devil to go. He's not going to have you. He's not going to stop what God's put in your heart. I want to encourage you, throughout the rest of the New Testament, there's so many verses about fighting the good fight of faith and not giving up and not drawing back. In 1 Peter 5, verses 8 and 9, this was verses that remind us that we have a personal enemy. It says, be well balanced, be temperate, be sober of mind, be vigilant and cautious at all times. For that enemy of yours, he is your enemy. He wants to stop you. The devil, he roams around like a lion, roaring in fierce hunger, seeking someone to seize upon and devour. And we don't want to let him seize upon and devour us today. Withstand him. Be firm in faith against his onset. Be rooted, established, strong, immovable, and determined, knowing that the same identical sufferings are appointed to your brotherhood, the whole body of Christians throughout the world. So the devil comes at every one of us, and he'll try to tell us that this is too big, you're the only one going through this. There's no way to get around this obstacle, but it's a lie. He's a liar, and we're not going to let him devour us. In Ephesians 6, this is where Paul talked to the Ephesians. In conclusion, be strong in the Lord. Be empowered through your union with him. And that's where throughout the day we've got to stop. The minute we feel something trying to unsettle us or torment us or come in our minds, we've got to stop right then and say, Jesus, what's truth? What do you have to say about this? And right there, Jesus has the answer. Or maybe Jesus will tell you, ask someone for help. Maybe you do have a lot on your plate and you need someone to help you. You need help. You need encouragement. Maybe you need to just open up your heart to those around you and say, this is trying to discourage me. We need one another. We need encouragement. We need prayer. We need all the tools that God's given us to fight the good fight of faith. We are not wrestling with flesh and blood. It's not physical opponents that we're contending with, but against the despotisms, the powers, the master spirits who are the world rulers of this present darkness, against the spirit forces of wickedness in the heavenly supernatural sphere. Therefore, this tells us, put on God's complete armor, that you may be able to resist and stand your ground on the evil day of danger, and having done all the crisis demands, stand firmly in your place. Even when it looks like God's told you something and you don't see the whole answer coming yet, you don't see the reality of what God's put in your heart, we're still going to stand and believe God. And I've seen times in my life when God put something in my heart, and it may have been a while before it actually took place. There were maybe a lot of trials and tests on the way to see, was I really going to believe God? And through those times, God made my faith stronger in those areas of my life. And he's teaching me every day, because there's always new things and that he's wanting to teach us, and we cannot let the devil stop us. Lift up over all the covering shield of saving faith, upon which you can quench all the flaming missiles of the wicked one. And we're going to believe God. And that's how, with the weapons he's given us, we're going to fight the good fight of faith. He tells us to keep alert and watch with strong purpose and perseverance. In Hebrews 10, verses 35 through 39, there are some instructions to us from God very clearly that God does not take pleasure in those who draw back and who listen to that doubt and let the devil lie to them. Do not, this is verses 35 through 39, do not therefore fling away your fearless confidence, for it carries a great and glorious compensation of reward. You have need of steadfast patience and endurance, so that you may perform and fully accomplish the will of God and thus receive and carry away and enjoy to the full what is promised. For still a little while, a very little while, the coming one will come, and he will not delay. Jesus is coming, and we're going to fight. We want to fight and make it to the end. We don't want to be those who choose rebellion, who choose to be a coward, like those other spies that never got to go in for what God had for them. The coming one will come, and the just shall live by faith. My righteous servant shall live by his conviction, respecting man's relationship to God, and holy fervor. There's that fervor and that fight that God puts in our heart, that I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep crying out to Jesus. I'm going to ask and keep on asking. I'm going to keep on seeking him. And Jesus can put that in your heart. If you don't feel like fighting, cry out to him. Jesus, those devils have lied to me. They've talked to me about my life, but I want to know what you have to say about me. I want to believe you. I don't want to be those who are wicked and draw back. God warns us. Those who are wicked and have that wicked heart of unbelief will not make it. And he said, if he draws back and shrinks in fear, my soul has no delight or pleasure in him. But our way is not that of those who draw back to eternal misery and are utterly destroyed, but we are of those who believe, who cleave to, trust in, and rely on God. And think about those words. That is how we'll get through every trial and every temptation of the devil, is believing, cleaving to, trusting in, relying on God through Jesus Christ, and by faith preserve the soul. I love what Paul said toward the end of his life. And Paul went through all kinds of trials, way more than I know than I've been through. I mean, he went through hunger, through shipwrecks, through beatings, through all kinds of trials, and all kinds of things that could have made him doubt. But he kept his eyes on Jesus and on the call of God that he knew was on his life. He was not moved. At the end of his life, in 2 Timothy 4 verse 7, Paul said, I have fought the good, worthy, honorable, and noble fight. I have finished the race, and I have kept and firmly held the faith. As to what remains henceforth, there is laid up for me the victor's crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me and recompense me on that great day. And not to me only. We want this to be us included as well, but to all those who have loved and yearned for and welcomed his appearing, his return. That's the way we're going to make it. We're going to fight the good fight of faith. And I want God to be able to say to me and to say to you that you have fought the good fight. And no matter what you faced, you turned your heart to me and you fought through what that devil was trying to do in your life. In Philippians 1, this is the key to our fight. Do not for a moment be frightened or intimidated in anything by your opponents or adversaries, for such constancy and fearlessness will be a clear sign to them, to our enemy, of their impending destruction. The devil is not greater than our God. Like Hezekiah said, we have one with us that is greater than all of them. And if you have not surrendered your life to Jesus, I encourage you, surrender your life to him. And when you give him everything and all you want is his will for your life, you can be on God's side, and he can give you that strength to fight all those attacks of the devil that the devil wants to destroy your life with, whether it's sin, whether it's sickness, whether it's whatever it is. It does not matter. Our God is greater. And in conclusion, in 2 Kings verse 4, there's one example that really stands out to me of the Shunammite woman. And if you haven't read this, go back and read it. But Elisha, the prophet of God, had kept passing by her house, and she had made Elisha a special place at her house to stay. And she loved Elisha. She loved God's people. And God promised her a son, and it was a miracle. And one day that son got very sick. His head was hurting, and the Bible tells us that he died. He wasn't making it. And that Shunammite woman, she had a place in her heart of determination and faith in God. She went to see Elisha, the man of God. She had that place in her heart where she believed. And she went And Elisha's servant sent word to her when she got to him, "Is all well? Is all well with you, with your husband, with your son?" And her words were, "All is well." It definitely didn't look like all was well. But she believed God, and she chose the truth over the lie and over what the devil was trying to do, because she knew what God had put in her heart. And Elisha, the man of God, went, and her son was healed. That really stands out to me, because how many times I've been convicted in my own life, I've looked at the natural circumstances, and it can look dark, and it may not look good. But God is God, and God has a hold of our lives, and His word will not fail us. So I just encourage you to set your heart today to believe God and not be a coward. Revelations talks about those who are cowards and those who will not fight against the devil. They won't make it, and they'll spend eternity in hell. We don't want to do that. We don't want that for our lives. We want to be those who believe, who turn our heart to Jesus. So whatever fear, whatever doubt has tried to come against your mind today, or may try to come against your mind when a circumstance arises, turn your heart to Jesus and let Him teach you how to fight that good fight of faith. If it's looking at what's happening in our country today, we are going to fight the good fight of faith. Our God is on our side, and He will not let us down. He will not fail those who cry out to Him. He will not forsake us. He will never, no, never. If your problem is a small problem or a great, huge, tremendous problem, there is no mountain too big for our God to move. And I just encourage you, turn your heart to Him and trust Him. Thank you so much for having us today. We are here with WCAB on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 8:30 to 9 o'clock. We love you all. We love being with you, and our prayers are with you today. Thank you.
Get your local weather at 5 past the hour here on WCAB.
Come from the chief of the Capitol Hill Police along with the sergeants at arms in the House and Senate. Those are demanded by congressional leaders, some of whom want the president to be next.
With Trump's support in Washington crumbling, the president is calling for the nation to heal and finally admitting the reality he has denied for more than 2 months.
A new administration will be inaugurated on January 20th. My focus now turns to ensuring a smooth, orderly, and seamless transition of power.
But that admission may be too little too late. Trump is facing growing calls for him to go now. Democratic leaders are urging Vice President Mike Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment and immediately remove Trump from office.
It's ABC's Mary Bruce. The U.S. economy suffered a big loss last month in jobs, says ABC's Aaron Katursky.
The U.S. economy lost 140,000 jobs in December. The Labor Department said it reflects a recent increase in coronavirus cases and efforts to contain the pandemic. The leisure and hospitality and private education sectors were particularly hard hit.
All this as coronavirus deaths reach a new level across the country. Thursday was the first day the U.S. saw more than 4,000 deaths in a 24-hour period. You're listening to ABC News.
The IRS doesn't mess around. If they want your money, they'll take it. They can take your paycheck and bank accounts too, even threaten your home or business. Don't take on the IRS alone. If you owe back taxes, the smartest thing you can do is call Optima Tax Relief. The experts at Optima specialize in a powerful IRS tax assistance program called the Fresh Start Initiative. And their clients that qualify are saving thousands, even tens of thousands. One call starts the process to stop the demand letters, stop aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS from targeting you. But don't delay. It's important to act now while you still have options. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Optima has already resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get your life back. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima now for your free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
This is WCAB Rutherfordton, 100.9 FM, 590 AM, serving the foothills of Rutherford County and the foothills. Let me give you these latest cancellations here in the county due to the weather today. Rutherford County offices are closed today. They had announced earlier a 10 o'clock opening, but now they have decided, since the snow is continuing to fall, they've decided to close all day today. Rutherford County Transit will be closed. No operation of Rutherford County Transit today. The courthouse closed today. New information will be sent out concerning court dates at a later time, but courthouse activities will be closed today. Isothermal Community College closed today. Rutherford County Schools closed, and there'll be no senior center meals today. The Masters Academy, the Forest School, and the Outdoor School have been closed. And if you are scheduled to receive the COVID-19 vaccination today, it has been rescheduled until Saturday or Sunday. Please come to the Rutherford County Health Department on Saturday at 2 o'clock or Sunday at 2 o'clock. This is only for individuals already registered to receive the vaccination today. So no vaccination today would be Saturday and Sunday at 2 o'clock, only if you have already pre-registered for that. It's 4 minutes after 9 o'clock, and as promised this morning, I have fortunate enough to have this morning on the phone with me Congresswoman Virginia Foxx. Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jim. Good to talk to you.
Good to have you on the air with us today. I know the weather is on everybody's mind this morning, but something else has been on everybody's mind this week, that activity that went on in Washington. I know you, as a Congresswoman, you probably had firsthand view of that. Tell us what transpired. Where were you during that time?
Well, I was actually on the floor, Jim. I went over just a little bit before 1 because I wanted to be in the chamber when the event began, when the session began. I actually had a young woman from Surrey County with me who works in my Boone office. She hadn't been to Washington since she was a child, and I said, well, I thought this would be a good time for her to come because it would be a historic day. And she was standing in the back of the chamber. We had been there since about 1, and she was standing up because the staff stands up back in the back. I usually do too, but I was sitting down a little closer to the front because everybody wearing masks, it's really hard to hear. I can't understand the speaker at all. Her mask seems to be pretty tight. But anyway, so we were there in the chamber, and I had decided I was going to leave for a while because the debate was going on and not a whole lot new stuff was being said. And we watch it from our offices. And I thought I'd get her off her feet, let her go back to the office and watch it. And I delayed, a little bit. And then all of a sudden we heard pounding on the doors, which I certainly wasn't expecting to hear. And people shouting, sit down, get down. And they asked us to sit down. The chief of the police stood on the podium and said, please sit down. And then they said, we may ask you to get in the floor. And then they said, please put on your gas mask. We have gas masks under our seats. There are gas masks all over the complex. They're even in the office buildings. And I frankly I've showed them always to people when I give them a tour of the Capitol and say, we have these gas masks. I'm told that we don't know how effective they would be. So they asked us to get the gas mask out, and they're very difficult to get out of the packages, frankly, and we were having difficulty getting them out of the packages because they were sealed so strongly. But we had just gotten one opened, and I was surrounded by new members because a lot of the, long-time serving members weren't there, but the new members were a lot more interested in it, I think. And so there were 5 or 6 new members around me, and they were nervous. I frankly wasn't nervous. I've never felt threatened in the Capitol. I've always felt well protected there, very well protected. The police are great, but I saw that morning, several other members have mentioned it, but I mentioned it to the staff that morning. We don't have any security, extra security today. And on swearing in day, on State of the Union Day, on Inauguration Day, there's wall-to-wall police. I mean, they bring in police from everywhere, all over the country to be there. There was just the Capitol Police, and it was the normal group with no extra people. I was flabbergasted, absolutely flabbergasted. And I even commented on it to somebody And they just, the leadership, the sergeant at arms who's in charge of the Capitol Police and the chief of the police, I don't know whose direction, whether it was their own decision, but they were offered National Guard, they were offered extra police, and they refused it. And it's very unfortunate because they should have not allowed people to come up the steps of the Capitol and break in. I do not condone violence. I don't care on whose part it is. There is no excuse for violence. There's no excuse for breaking the law. The Capitol is supposed to be a secure place. You cannot come in unless you go through security.
Sure.
You go through magnetometers.
Sure.
I've had constituents come up and, people who are used to carrying knives because they work. I mean, I used to carry a knife all the time, because knives are handy. Pocket knives are handy. But you can't take them on airplanes anymore, and so I don't carry a knife anymore. But I've had constituents come in and they find a knife on somebody and they'll hand it to me and say, when they go home, you mail it to them back home. Don't give it to them while they're up here. Things like that. So it's very secure. So anyway, there was tear gas, I understand, but they took us out of the building. They took us out of the chamber, down 5 flights of steps into the tunnel going between the Capitol and the office buildings. So we ran down the steps and ran through the tunnel and went into one of the other buildings. They didn't know whether anybody was in the other buildings, so they asked us to shelter in place. I had 4 staffers in my office because my staff comes in every day. We're splitting up the staff. Anyway, so the staff had to stay there till after 8 o'clock when they finally got things secure and people could move around.
Were you aware of what was taking place? Did you know what was happening at the time?
Well, we didn't know exactly what was happening at the time till I got back to my office and we could see TVs and see what was happening. But all we knew was that people were trying to break into the chamber. And that was unfortunate. We had seen a little bit. I was busy working, but I have the TV on in my office all the time, either on C-SPAN or on one of the stations. And I had seen there was a rally that morning, but I hadn't paid too much attention to it. I knew the president had spoken at a rally, but I hadn't really been paying a lot of attention to it because, as I said, we were working on any statement that I might make. I was not given time to speak on the floor. I didn't ask till late in the game for time, and I knew a lot of people from the states that were being contested would want to speak, and we only had 2 hours of debate for each one. So, but I knew I needed to put out a statement, so we were working on that. I was working on mail, frankly. I had a lot of letters to write, and just doing normal things that I do when I'm in the office.
I think
talking on the phone.
I think across America, as a majority, the hearts were broken for most all Americans.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think
absolutely. There's no excuse again for this. Just no excuse for breaking the law. I don't care what political party you are, but I do think that this group. Generally, we know. I've been to lots of Trump rallies, and the people there are gentle souls. Gentle souls. And I just do not believe that the people who led this group into the Capitol were those gentle souls. I believe they were led in by people who were put there for nefarious purposes. And I hope that will come out. Now, the news is this morning that one of the Capitol Police officers died, and that is truly unfortunate. There was a woman shot in the group. That is horribly unfortunate.
Terrible. What do you make of Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer wanting to exercise and get Donald Trump moved out these last 2 weeks in office? What do you make of that?
There's nothing like kicking a person when he or she is down, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the president will be there for like 12 more days or something. Come on, folks. Could we not do that? I think I think they will use this episode forever and ever and ever. They've ignored all the Antifa demonstrations. They have never condemned the violence that has occurred all year long in this country. But here they are pouring all this on the head of the president. The president is not a violent man. The president is not someone who supports violence, and I'm sure he is as sorry as anybody about what has happened. It's really truly unfortunate that this episode is being used to define his entire presidency, because a lot of good came out of this presidency, and that's all going to be subsumed now by this episode, and that's truly, truly unfortunate.
Are you optimistic about the 117th Congress with the new leadership as it is now, with Democrats controlling both House and Senate, plus the presidency as well?
I'm not at all optimistic, Jim. Honestly, I think it's going to be the toughest 2 years I've ever had in my life. I will be the lead Republican on the Education and Labor Committee, and I expect that committee to be one of the most active committees. Most people don't realize that we deal with a lot of religious freedom issues in that committee, and we have fought back even in the last 2 years. We have fought back the erosion of religious liberties. We fought back on taking away school choice. Pardon me. We fought back on the undermining of American ideals that they will push forward. They will try to unionize the country. They will do everything they can to force a $15 minimum wage. They will take away right to work laws. I mean, we truly are in for a radical time in this country that will do everything possible to undermine everything, I believe, that has made this country great. And I'm dreading it, frankly, but I'm there, and I am going to work as hard as I can for the people of the district. I know what the values are of the people of the 5th District. I share those values. They're positive values, Jim, positive. We look for the positive in people. We look for the positive in this country. Do we have flaws? We absolutely do. There are no perfect human beings. There's only been one. And we are there to make things better for people. And we want to make things better.
Well, I know you're a fighter, and I'm glad you're there to be in this fight during these next 2 years anyway. But I know the Speaker has done and said some really, I guess I could say, stupid things. But this proposed House rules eliminating gender terms like father and
absolutely.
daughter.
I mean, saying that we can't say mother, father, daughter, son. What that is, Jim, is an attack on the nuclear family.
Yeah.
It is an attack on the nuclear family, and it is the nuclear family that, again, is at the core of everything. God created the nuclear family. If they can destroy the nuclear family, then they truly do destroy family and community.
Yes.
And that is at the core of all of this. And I think people have to understand that. I think people say, oh, well, it's just words. No. Words represent values. Words represent values. We have got to be careful. And I really, truly believe that this is an attack on the very core of this country. And I am very concerned about it. You're right, I've been a fighter, and I've said this. For all of the years I've spent in Congress, I have not lost my zeal for what is right.
Good.
I will fight for what is right to the death. And I have only God to make happy, right?
Yes, right. What is we as constituents and we as citizens of North Carolina and America. What do we need to be doing these next 2 years to make it as positive as we can with the leadership that's there now?
Well, I think that, first let me say that it does no good to write to other members of Congress. I know a lot of people say, well, I'm going to write Nancy Pelosi and I'm going to write Chuck Schumer. I'm going to write all these people and tell them what I think. They just throw your stuff in the trash because you're not their constituent. So I think what people have to do is educate at the local level. I've said this for years, and pay attention to who gets elected at the local level, Jim.
Yes.
Because people who get elected at the local level move up. You know this. You've been involved in politics, and you understand this. So pay attention to who's on your school board. Pay attention to what they're doing. Do they want to do away with gender terms?
No.
If they do, express your opinion there, because they form opinion. They shape minds. Part of the problem we have right now is what's been going on in the universities for 50 years and how we have indoctrinated people. I mean, that's what the communists do. That's what the socialists do. They indoctrinate at a very young level, a young age, and we need to be paying close attention to what's going on in that respect. So write to me if you have your concerns, pro or con. I read all the letters. I answer the letters. So I listen to people, and I answer them. And if I disagree, I will explain why. And in many cases, people will write me back and say, well, I don't agree with you, but I appreciate the fact that you have a reason for why you do what you do. And that's what people will hear from me. I have, I believe, a good philosophy, and I reason things out. And most people say that I really get to the nub of the issue very, very quickly. God hasn't given me a lot of talents, but he's given me some. I'm just a down-to-earth, common-sense person who really does get to the issue, and I don't mind expressing that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that about you, and I know you've got to go and as I do, but you said it very well, better than I do. And I said on my show often, it's important to know who that candidate is and know what they stand for, not just because they have a title like Reverend by their name or they happen to be a particular color or a particular party. It's important to know what they stand for and their beliefs before we vote for them.
That's right. Don't vote on the party label. Vote on, now I happen to believe 99% of the time the Republican is the best person to vote for.
Sure.
I will say that. But understand, as you said, what the person believes in. Ask them questions before they're elected. As I tell people all the time, you know, they tell you when you marry somebody who's got a bad habit, don't expect to change it. So if you know somebody who's running for office that's got a bad habit or a bad philosophy, you won't change it after he or she gets in office likely. They're going to stay the way they are. So don't elect somebody that has a value that's different from yours. Now, if you can find a person that agrees with you 100% of the time, it's probably you.
Well, I always heard if everybody agrees with everything you say, then everybody's not important. There's only one person. Listen,
That's right. No.
You have to go, but I hope we can set something up on a regular basis and chat with you once a month at least and get your thoughts on what's happening up there. Maybe at a different time frame than we're doing this morning. But it's been great to have you on board with us today and to share some insight into what happened up there. And,
well, thank you, Jim. And I just want to say thank you to people for their prayers. Pray for our nation. Pray for our leaders. I should have said that before, too. Everybody can pray. And what everybody can pray for, whether you agree with me or not, is for peace and stability.
I guess from this point on, rather than calling you Congresswoman Virginia Fox, we'll call you Congressperson Virginia Fox.
No. It's okay. You call me Congresswoman. That's what I am. I am a woman.
You have a great day. Be careful up there, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Jim. God bless you and all the people there. Okay, bye-bye.
Congresswoman Virginia Fox, representing parts of Rutherford County and all its district, spending some time with us to give us some insight on what's happening in Washington. We appreciate that so very much. Quick rundown again. We'll get back into our regular programming. And Rutherford County offices closed today. Rutherford Transit closed today. Courthouse closed. New information will be sent out concerning court dates. ICC closed today. Rutherford County Schools closed. No senior center meals today. The Masters Academy Forest School and Outdoor Schools closed. And if you're scheduled to receive the COVID-19 vaccination today, it's been rescheduled until Saturday or Sunday. Please come to the Rutherford County Health Department on Saturday at 2 o'clock or Sunday at 2 o'clock. And this is only for individuals already registered to receive the vaccination today. We'll keep you posted on any other changes that take place today. We'll be sure to get that on as quickly as we can. And let's go play in the snow.
Of scratch-offs are ready to harvest. These tickets are fresh off the vine and plump with prizes. Oh yeah, smells like a winner to me. So come on down. Your freshest chances to win in an instant are ready with new scratch-offs like Mega Bucks and Quick 100s from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Kinda gives cash crop a whole new meaning. Must be 18